All right, cool. I think we're live. Let's take a look here. There we go. We're live. Copy and put into my Discord. All right, there we go. So we have that in place. We're going to close our Discord, but we are officially live. Ooh, you don't want to see that. That is bar prep. That's my bar prep schedule. But anyway, all right, so here we are in game. We are starting our stream a little bit earlier today than normal. Afternoon to you, Prax. Yes, today's stream is a little bit earlier. Main reason really being that tonight, I'm going to be watching Doctor Strange, and the showing was kind of right in the middle of our normal stream time, so had to get things started a little bit earlier today. But I still wanted to have our winners today. The key things I want to talk about, actually the most key thing I wanted to talk about was the Mojo battles, right? I haven't actually done them yet. I don't think I'll be able to play as much as I'd like during the next 10 weeks because of bar prep. But, we're going to do the best that we can. So obviously I'll be doing a lot of event stuff here on streams, but we'll be talking a little bit about this Mojo event here shortly. Nice to have some people hopping in, Prax. Love seeing you here. Afternoon. Gujo, hey, and hello to you. Thank you for hopping on. Good to see you too, Heidi. Thank you so much for hopping on to the live stream today. I know I mentioned a little bit earlier. Hi, nice to have you here, Kim Tate. I'm going to probably mention it a couple times because I know people come in during different times, but thank you guys for accommodating your schedules to hang out with me here on the live stream. I will be watching Doctor Strange later tonight, which is really the main reason I had to move up the stream a little bit. Hopefully that's okay. Gujo's seen it. All right. Love to hear that. I'm going to, don't spoil it for me because I will be watching that here later today. But I love to hear that was good. I'm going to go ahead and claim some stuff from Daily Quest real quick. We got some energy. Of course, we always have our enchanting a glyph. Working on finishing off our Yasmin, who right now is one of my top priorities. Let's see. Ooh, I don't quite have enough glyphs, so we will see who else I can work on. I guess Aurora, right? Some magic penetration. That's an easy one. We'll do that. All right, so there is that completion. Incognito, nice to have you here. Thank you for joining the live stream. You can also see, even though I've made every single battle day for Hero Wars during the Guild War week, there are days I forget to claim my daily bonus. Not really ideal, but that is kind of the unfortunate timing I'm under when it comes to studying for the bar, so there we go. Okay, so Shaman's Calling, right? This is the Mojo event. Now, I haven't even really looked at this event, being honest, but there is the 5 Soulstones daily. Cool. VIP. Not really too keen on that. Getting VIP for spending actual money right now is not a great time for me for that. Spending emeralds, okay, cool. Energy. Now, I know the Brawl coins usually have some good rewards, so I will be trying to get some Brawl coins if I can. Opening chest in Outland. Might as well do that while we're talking about it. Otherwise, I probably will forget tonight because if I'm not studying or eating or taking a break, I usually am taking a nap because I get tired after some of the longer study days, right? So yes, we will 100% do some Mojo talk. Um, Perfect. Glad to hear that this works out for some of you guys. Absolutely love that. So I'm going to open some artifact chests and we'll do a tower run. And then we'll talk about Mojo 100%. So I have a couple of teams that I want to look at. I know there's one team that I actually really like. I've seen it posted a couple of times in different areas, but I think it makes sense. And I want to talk about it a little bit while we're testing it out. And it was cool because they gave us a defensive suggestion as well with a way to counter that team if we do indeed see that team. So we're going to talk about that right here. I haven't seen much of a change in Mojo. I'm not going to lie. I don't know if there's really that much of a change in Mojo. Let's take a quick look here. My guess is the real main thing that they did for Mojo was they made him a little stronger. Like they probably increased the attacks minimally, and they're calling it a rework. I get it. Don't really think it's huge for Mojo, but let's take a look at Mojo real quick right before we do our little tower run. But to me, I think I think what they did here was they increased the magic percentage for the attack, and same here. Basically, what they really did was they just increased some of these to make them higher. But I mean, I wouldn't probably notice much of a difference currently because I don't use Mojo much, but that is my assumption. Mojo, in my opinion, is an ideal attacker for the bosses. Like I think he can fight against Brog. But yeah, I mean, some of these he's really good against the boss fights, but he's not really a great matchup fighter typically. So that is usually one thing that I think that's tough with Mojo. So it's hard to really verify how strong he really is and how useful he can be to various teams. So I mean, I get it. I understand why you might not see a change because the change is probably pretty minimal. If I'm being 100% honest, that's my hot take. I don't really think that he's the most impressive hero. Um, because he just takes so long to charge up. But once he does get charged up, he deals a lot of damage. So let's see. Oh, Negro, I've been doing well. Um, Nice to have you here, oh Negro. Love seeing you here. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about Mojo. Today's stream is a little earlier, courtesy of Doctor Strange showing later tonight. So with that, we're going to do our tower run. Then we're going to talk even more about Mojo. But so far, I haven't seen, like Praxis said here, Mojo hasn't seen that big of a change in his abilities. The real reason being is it takes a while for those abilities to get going. So I think it just takes a little bit of time for him to charge. And because he's a slower charger, because he typically stands further back in line, right? He's not like one of those main attackers like Kark, who's so far up front that, if he gets 3 or 4 hits, because he's sustaining damage, he also gets his bar charged faster to spam his ult. That doesn't happen for heroes like Mojo very quickly because he stands further back in line and he sustains a lot more damage before he's able to output enough damage to get him going. So I totally understand why you might be struggling with that. I mean, I think I don't really foresee myself using Mojo too much outside of a Outland situation or a situation where there's a boss who is particularly weak to Mojo. Because right now, there's not a lot of great combinations, I think, for Mojo because he's a magic attacker. And with the options that you have in Hero Wars, such as Rufus and Isaac, it makes it a lot harder to attack, right? So I think we just completed our tower run, going to claim the completion rewards here. But I think that's what we're looking at for there. Mojo has to have Merlin. Okay, so let's get to the meat of this, right? So we did want to talk about Mojo, but I think the first thing I got to do is set a defense. Clearly, this is not a good defense here. As you're saying, right, we do typically want to have someone with Mojo, and I actually am going to choose to have King Biscuit on Mojo. So King Biscuit, right, gives magic attack and armor. So armor allows for Mojo to sustain longer on the field when there's physical attackers. But magic attack is really helpful for Mojo's main purpose, which is his damage. The team that I'm seeing that I really like so far, I mean, I haven't tested it too much yet, but it starts with Arachne. So Arachne is kind of the tank here, physical attacker. You want Arachne with with Mara, who is selected currently magic attack and magic defense. Um, then I had Dante. So Dante is a great physical attacker. On top of that, he also has the ability to dodge. So I think Kane provides that dodge ability, which allows him to stay on the field longer, right? Which is really helpful because the team that I'm proposing doesn't really have a healer on it. We do have Sebastian, who's a control, right? Sebastian. We want Sebastian to have Albus. And we also have Faceless, right? So this is kind of the squad we're looking at with Axel as the pet. But this is the offense team that I like, right? So for defense, right, the suggested team is a little different. Sorry, I didn't mean to go off topic there. I thought I was doing an attack for some reason. But we're doing Rufus. So Rufus is the, defensive line, right? Rufus, Sebastian, Mojo, Heidi, and Leanne. Heidi and Leanne. So the problem with this team is obviously it's going to be vulnerable to people who use maybe like a Galahad, but this is an example of a solid team. I don't really know if these are the right pets that I should be having assigned here, but I think I'm going to go with it for now. I don't really see an issue with these. Maybe Albus should be here. But other than that, I don't really see a huge problem. I'm going to keep it as is. That's going to be my defensive line. And for attacking, right, this is the team I was mentioning earlier on accidentally messed that one up. But yeah, so Prax, I know you said Mojo has to have Merlin, but I think in this case, with the specific lineup that we have, I think it's possible to maybe have Mojo in this particular instance, right, with King Biscuit. So I think that's what we're going to go with. But I think you're right. In a lot of situations, Merlin is the best situated for Mojo because it boosts that magic damage. So we're going to go with Arachne, Dante, Sebastian, and Faceless. Faceless, and Sebastian. So Sebastian here with Albus, Merlin, and Axel. Okay. Hey MJF, nice to have you here. Thank you for hopping on the live stream. Wally, hello to you, and thank you for hopping on to the live stream. Mojo is good versus teams that will do line displacement, such as Faceless, who will expose Mojo so he can charge faster. That makes sense, because, the faster, the further up in the line that Mojo is, the more he is able to sustain damage and get that energy going, right? Hey, Niels. Charlie had a good team in his live stream. Dante, Kane, Isaac, and Oliver, Sebastian, Mojo, Biscuit, Helios. It's a very counter team that he had there. So he's saying to have Dante, Isaac, Sebastian, Mojo, and Helios. I mean, look, he's right to have Mojo and Dante. I like that, right? Because now he has a physical attacker who, like I do here, is really focused on taking down any potential person who has Rufus on their defense. Isaac makes sense, right? But this only works if there's a magic attack heavy team, which, I mean, most of them will be because obviously Mojo is a magic attacker. And Helios is great for Yasmin anti-team. So this is a good, solid defensive team. It doesn't look like it's the worst offensive team, but I don't know if it is the best. I feel like a lot of these teams can do pretty well. So, I mean, I haven't really tested them too much, but we can test out that team as well. But I do like that I like this team so far. I've tested it a couple times, not in this event per se, but I like the fact that we're using Arachne, who can stun opposing teams, and we're using her in a tanking capacity. And with her vampirism, she's able to be highly effective in not only healing herself, but dealing substantial damage. So, I mean, I'm a fan of that. So that is one of the reasons I really like this team. But I do think, Niels, that is not a bad team either. It just seems to be very counter-based, which to me is not bad. I just think it's more of a defensive team than an offensive team. Neil, you said it works 22 out of 23 times. All right. Well, let's see how this team does. So far, we're 2 for 2. Obviously, here I do see that there is a Yasmin. So if we really wanted to, we could probably put Helios here in place of Faceless. Hey Francis, nice to have you here. Thank you for joining the live stream. Prax, yes, it is true that it does speed up the attacks, right? That's true, for sure. Hey Francis, love having you here. Gujo says Dante, Celeste, Seb, Mojo, Iris, Axel, Pet, 14-1 with that one. That's a very, very good record. Let's see what we can do here, though. I know that Helios obviously got rid of Yasmin really quickly there. It looks like the rest of the team was able to pull it off. So far, right now, I did sub out, I subbed out Faceless for Helios in that situation. So far, we are 3 for 3. Okay? I think everyone, right, so far. So the only change that I've made is I took out Helios and put in, well, I put in Helios right there, but we're going to put Faceless back in here. The only reason I took Faceless out was because I saw that there was Yasmin, and I figured we could get rid of her sooner rather than later. But here's a test. So where's Isaac on the opposing side? Isaac is a huge problem for Magic attackers, but I'd like to see how this plays out. Normally, I would try to avoid this team and just keep attacking teams that I thought were easy, but I'd like to see if this team can hold its own against an Isaac-related squad. I know Dante is going to be the one we're relying on here, but I think it's very doable, and obviously I was wrong. So that was a tough team right there. So that Isaac team is one to avoid, right? So maybe next time I'll test it against the team that we have, using this line that Charlie has. Although I don't really think that team would fare much better against an Isaac-related team. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. Okay, we're going to put Helios back in here and try this again. A lot of good teams you can do for sure. So yeah, if you guys have teams to suggest, I'm more than happy to switch them in and out. I did want to just kind of run with this team a little bit though, just because I feel like I like the stun effect Arachne offers, and it gives Dante a chance to load up. So I'm going to run with it for a little bit, but I'm more than happy to try out other teams. Jason spends days like this just reminiscing. I mean, who knows? Who knows, oh Negro? Who knows? Yeah, no, I do think there's a lot of good squads you can have. I do like some of these teams that have been proposed. I do think that Isaac's going to be one of the most problematic heroes to deal with when we're attacking. I'm going to go ahead and just keep running through teams that don't have Isaac if I can avoid it. But I think Isaac's the biggest problem for an attacker because Mojo is a magic attacker, and most of the heroes right now in Hero Wars are magic attack based. So I can see that being a potential issue as an attacker, right? So let's see, who else we got here? I think we're going to take down both these teams. Let's see. But we're moving right along here. I do like this team. I obviously see a couple other good suggestions. We can try out Charlie's team in a couple more wins here. I just want to try a couple more. I think the biggest issue with this team is just when you run into Isaac. You can still beat Rufus with this team. The only team that you're going to really struggle with is teams with Isaac. I think Isaac is a huge problem. Dante as a tank has worked well for me against Isaac teams. Okay, Francis, I like that. It makes sense. Potentially maybe taking out some of the magic attackers. Oops, I kept Helios in there, but that's fine. Such as Arachne and Helios, right? Then you would just limit the number of magic attackers on your team to potentially try to take down that Isaac. I like that. I actually like having Helios in this spot as opposed to Faceless, which is interesting. Because I know Faceless is able to deal significant damage by copying one of the allies, but it looks like Helios is holding his own, and I know Helios is a part-time healer, so it does help. And there's Mojo doing his thing. When Mojo gets going, he is tough to stop. That is a fact. Okay, let's see. So this could be a tough team. It's very offensive, but if we get Dante going off right, and I mean, I think Helios will be able to make quick work of Yasmin, but this is a very offensive team with not too much defense. So if we can penetrate, enough damage here and get past Anvari to take out Kark early, I think we're going to be okay. And so we just did. And that was a nice little win right there. So that was a very offensive-related team. But you can see, right, we're able to cruise right along. So I kind of want to see the merchant rewards because there's one I wanted in particular. Wow, some of these do take a lot of rewards. Whew. All right, well, we've got a ways to go to get to the higher rewards. Okay, this would be a tough team, I think, for me currently, but we can test out. So you said, let's do something with Dante as the tank. So we're going to go with Dante as a tank. I'm kind of thinking we go we go Kira or do we go Ching Mao? Ching Mao, where's Ching Mao? Ooh, Ching Mao goes in front of Dante. I don't really like that. Kira. We'll give Fenris to you. We'll take Kane here. And I wonder if we do Martha, we'll be okay. I guess we can see how this plays out. Aurora, Celeste, Judge, Mojo, Leanne, Mara, Pet Team. Okay, we can definitely test that out. Obviously, we're going to want to test those out against non-Isaac teams if we can. This one looks like it's doing quite well. So I like this team for, teams that have Rufus on it. But this might be a good team to use, this Aurora team. So we're going to try it out. Let's do it. Let's do Aurora, Celeste, Judge, and Leanne. Judge. Where is the Judge Man? Judge Man and Leanne with Mara. Just making sure my pet's right. All right. So we're going to test it out here. I'm sure it'll do just fine. So let's see how it goes. We're just cruising. I like this. This is fun. And the nice thing about this is I know we're facing a Corvus team here. And Corvus is really a targeter of heroes that do a extensive amount of damage, but I don't think we have the types of heroes that Corvus is specifically going to be aiming for, so we're going to be okay, and there is a nice win right there. Let's see, maybe we're going to do one more, and I think this time we're going to sub out Celeste, actually, for Helios. I don't want to be taking any chances with a Yasmin on the opposing team, but I like it. Gujo says Twins, Mojo, Judge, and Aurora. Sure. I don't see a reason why we can't use that team as well. Francis said, I use Kane as a pet on Dante against physical attackers. I like it. All right, we're going to try this one next, which was the Aurora Twins Judge. Oh, then we'll try Charlie's team. Yeah, absolutely, Niels. We'll try it. Man, my voice is all getting scratchy on me. I don't have any water near me. Oh, well. Sorry, guys. Aurora, Judge, and the Twins. With Mara as the team back. There it is. Mojo with Axel. Oh, no. Okay, we're good. Let's try it out. Let's see how this goes. I think it's going to be very effective. Let us see. So there is a nice Twins double team. Love it. We're going to run it for one more because I think this one's going to be very effective here as well. And then we will try out Charlie's team. Absolutely. I think there's a lot of good combinations, like you guys were saying, for sure. I think there's a lot of good combos that you can use and test out and see how they play out. I think a lot of the suggestions are solid. I don't think there's not really one wrong team that you can go. Obviously, sometimes you run into a tougher team, but you're saying let's test out Charlie's team. Let's test it out. This is a good opportunity to test it out with someone like Isaac right on the opposing team. So I think it's a good opportunity here. So we got Dante, Isaac, Sebastian, Mojo, and Helios. There he is. All right, so I think we're going to go Kane here. Is that the right pet? I think it is. Dante and Kane, Isaac and Oliver, Sebastian and Albus, Mojo, Biscuit, Helios, and Merlin. Okay, so there's a team. Not sure the pet, though. I guess it doesn't really matter. We should be able to win. Hypothetically, Calnap, nice to have you here. Love seeing you here on this stream. We're talking about Mojo Brawls. We're testing out a couple of different teams. So far, most of them have been very effective. Very, very effective. Oh, Negro, love it. Appreciate your kind words. Asani, Jay, try this team. Yeah, we'll try it out. Let's see. We're getting kind of some almost error-like. We're going to refresh here and try this again. Not sure why. Okay, well, now it's working. Anyway, all right, let's see how Charlie's team does here. Looks like it can succeed for sure, I think. Let's see. Oh, no. Dante is on their side frozen, and Mojo's about to have his skill go off. What happened? All right. We're going to have to refresh. We'll do a couple more battles with Charlie's team, but I don't know why my Facebook page decided to slow down right there. Axel Pet. Okay, we'll update that. We'll update that on the next matchup. But I do think we're going to probably, it looks like we're going to have a good chance of winning that matchup. Let's see how it went. Log. We did end up with the victory, so that team worked great. Let's try it again. But now we're going to use Axel as our pet. All right. We'll probably do one more with this team after this, and then we'll try Asani's team. Absolutely. Yeah, I do think that this team is a very counter-heavy team. I like it. It just, I don't think that this would sustain against every single option. No team really should. But I think it's not a bad option. And I think obviously Isaac presents an interesting problem for a lot of players. So I think what I'm going to do here is we're going to use the exact same team. No, we're not. We're going to go back here. And we'll try it out again. I do think this is a tougher team to go against. I think we can still win. Good. Problem is, can we get rid of... Okay, we got rid of Kark. That was a big concern. So it works out pretty well. All right, so we are going to test out this next team here from Asani. He wants us to try out Arachne with Mara. Judge with Oliver. Amira. The newest hero so far with Axel, yes. And Mojo with Biscuit, yup. Thea with Merlin. Thea, an interesting one. We haven't seen much of her, but she does provide an interesting silence, which is always cool. We're going to keep Axel so far. Axel's pet. Okay, perfect. So we're going to see how this plays out. This should be interesting. Maybe I should have left Helios in for this fight because I did see Yasmin out of the corner of my eye. But I think Judge will be able to do some significant amount of damage here. And the silence for Thea kicked in. So if we can just land, and we took him out. So that was a pretty effective team. We'll try it again. Not this one, though, because that has Isaac there. We'll try it again here. I think this is a good team when you're not facing an Isaac, because obviously it's magic attack heavy, which I love. It isn't an ideal matchup for Isaac or Rufus teams, but against almost any other situation, this team looks very effective. Asani, I like it. We can probably do one more. Yeah, we can do this one right here as well. And after that, we will go and kind of switch around. I mean, the teams that have all been proposed, I think, are great. And you can use them interchangeably depending on what kind of team you're seeing defensively. Helios works better than Merlin in that line. Okay. So here's an issue. So we have double Isaac teams, so I probably wouldn't want to use this team because it's magic heavy. So we're going to swap out the team. We're going to go back to the Dante And I actually really like using Dante with Kira, actually, because Kira stands behind Dante in this particular setup. Where is Kira? Kira's here. Um, we don't want that. We want this. We want this. Sebastian here with Albus is great. And Martha. And I think we're going to go with this team. It seems to be relatively decent against teams that have Isaac so far, from what I've seen. And like you were saying, tanking with Dante is not a bad move. So, I mean, this team's been pretty effective so far. It looks like we completed our daily quest right there, but doesn't mean we can't still have fun for the day. I mean, why not? So, if anyone else has other teams, we can always test them out. Um, Helios works better with Biscuit in that line than the Merlin. Gotcha. Axel can go to Mojo. I won all my battles with that team. Asani, I think you can definitely win all your battles as long as you avoid Isaac teams, right? Because Isaac, I think, and we'll test it over here. Whoop, that's not what I want to do. Let's go to chat and guild battles. Helio or Hero. So the team that you had, Asani, which is very good, nothing wrong with it. But let's say we're facing someone who has maybe, say, Aurora, Rufus. Where's Mojo? Mojo has to be on the team. Mojo, Isaac, and say Martha with Axel, Biscuit. Sure. Okay, so let's say this is the defensive team that we're facing. If I use your team, I think it would struggle against this because it has Isaac and it has those neutralizing heroes. So those would be just heroes that I'd avoid. But we'll test it out anyway. So, Asani, I do like your team. I just think that this would be one example where you might want to switch your team. But let's see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it still works very well. Let's see. So we got Amira, Mojo, Thea, great silencer. I like Thea actually. Thea in your team works very well. It's rare that you see Thea as effective as she was. Let's see, Arachne and Judge. Judge is another great hero. I think with his rework, he's become pretty phenomenal actually. Arachne is a tank. Again, I mentioned this at the top. I'll mention it again. I think she is a good tank for these situations. Let's see. So we got Amira on. We got Mara on Arachne. We got Judge with Oliver, Amir with Axel, Mojo with Biscuit, and Thea with Merlin. Thea with Merlin. And we had Axel as the pet. So this would be like just one of the few times I think that it would be nice to switch it up, but I'm glad that you were able to win all your matchups with this team. Absolutely solid. Okay, so CalNap says, in these brawls, in many cases, I applied the trio of Satori, Amira, and Mojo. Okay, we can test one out. Absolutely. I think as long as we avoid, again, I think the standard problem is going to be teams like this where there's Rufus and you have Isaac, right? So that doubling up of magic attack defenders essentially is a problem. So I think this would be an example of a team that could be problematic. Aurora, to an extent, also is a problem for magic attackers. So, I mean, it looks like it's working, though. The only problem now is Rufus. Can Rufus go down? And it's a timeout. So that's a tough one right there. But let's see. Okay, so CalNap uses this team. We can try it out on the, let's see, test out here. So Satori, Amira, Mojo. I guess since we're doing a team like this, we might as well just have Martha in. All right, we'll do something like this. We'll see how it plays out. I mean, I do think that obviously Cornelius can be a factor because he can target the hero with the highest intelligence, but it probably has a better likelihood of winning than if we were to go against the Isaac team. But I mean, I think this is a pretty solid team too. I like using Satori. I think it's rare that you get to actually use him, and this is a win-win situation where you can use him and essentially not have any concerns if you lose. So I think it's pretty cool. I do like these brawls to the extent that they have good rewards. Um, but I think it's tough. It's still tough, and I think there's a lot of different combinations. I think you guys have offered great options, right? So if anyone's watching the stream, they see the teams I use and they just write them down. Honestly, if you use any combination of 3 or 4 of those, depending on the team, you're gonna do perfectly fine. You're gonna dominate these brawls, get the max reward every single day, pretty much without really needing to worry about these lives, and it's gonna be perfectly fine. So I think from that perspective, it's a fun event, but I do think it's a little bit redundant, right? Because you're really doing the same thing over and over again, and unfortunately, you don't get really any rewards here, which I think would be cool. But it is what it is. It is what is it. It's cool. It's a 5-day event, though. I didn't realize that when I went into it. But yeah, I think obviously these brawl coins are super valuable, and I'm really interested in one of these items myself, which is this one for Nebula, which is the Unity of Extremes. So I'm going to need a lot of work to get there, if I can get there at all. But that is the item I'm targeting. Does anyone have any items they're looking to get? I'm always curious. I know there's a bunch of good things here. I mean, this creator world's one of the biggest pains to create, so totally get it. Let's see. Francis says at max level, does Kira need the armor penetration from Fenris to be effective at lower levels? I like to use Albus for the extra pure damage. I think Fenris is better at higher levels, yes, because of the armor penetration. Um, and I think the key there, though, is that you want her being close to the front lines without being the very first one. You know what I mean? So you want someone there to help her get that spammy ability to get her blades going. And I think that having more armor penetration allows for a slightly more damage than the pure damage. I could be wrong, but based on my testing, I think that's what it is, for sure. Buy items from a shop for sure. Unity of Extremes for Kira. Yeah, I like this. I like this item. I think it's one that I'm going to need a lot of. So I'm definitely going to be going for that. So I hope that works out. And yes, Prax says if you guys don't mind hitting that likes button, please do so. Absolutely. So the other thing I want to do here before we wrap up is I just want to check these quests here and make sure I'm still moving along on my champion season. Usually I haven't been great about doing it lately this week, but that's okay. And after I do some of these, we're going to have our 2 lucky winners, right? Because we have 2 winners this week for the picker wheel, right? So we got one from one from Facebook and one from web. Both of those are from the YouTube videos. So we're going to do that right after we do a couple of these quick tasks. I'm not going to worry about that one right now. I'm not going to worry about that one either. Level up a tank's hero skin. That's pretty straightforward. Done. All right, so those are the ones that were super easy to do really fast. Let's see. Ooh, speaking of items, wow, nice. All right, cool. So we got a couple of things there from Champions Season. We're going to go ahead and open up the picker wheel. Of course, we've got some winners here. So let's see who our lucky winners are for today, right? Saturdays are based off of the YouTube videos. So we've got one Facebook and one web winner we'll be having today. So we're going to go ahead and spin this wheel and see who our lucky Facebook winner is. Good luck to everyone. Let's see. Good luck. Our winner is Clark O. Clark O is our Facebook winner. I will be messaging him after this stream ends and after we find out who our lucky web winner is. So we will be having our web winner chosen here as well. And after we wrap this up, I will plan on having a stream tomorrow as well. The plan currently is to run it around noonish Eastern Standard Time. I will send a message to everyone reminding you guys of that one if you guys can hang out. It'll be very short. I usually try to keep the Sunday ones shorter than Saturdays, but thank you guys so much for hanging out here. We're going to go ahead and spin for our Lucky Web winner, who is... It is Too Small with the letter P. Pretty interesting name there. I'm not going to make too many more comments on that, but congratulations to our winners. I will be messaging you guys on YouTube. Look for that. So congratulations, you guys. Kim says, in the brawl, it says I need one more win to get the last reward. But when I win one more battle, it says I have already completed the daily quest already. Yeah, like Wally said, maybe refreshing that tab or refreshing the game itself is the best call because you probably did already complete it. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me here on the stream. We are going to be redeeming, or not redeeming, we're going to be running up and running again tomorrow. But yes, thank you guys so much. I am going to be watching Doctor Strange later today. So if you guys haven't seen it, I'll be letting you know if I think it's good or not tomorrow, I guess. And with that being said, guys, thank you so much for your support and hanging out with me here on the stream. And I look forward